What is up, guys? My name is Matt from Magic the Greatening, and today I'm going to be showing you a blue-white budget Eternalize and Embalm deck. I made a blue-white Embalm deck for amonkhet standard, and now that Hour of Devastation, all the cards have been spoiled, I can give you an Embalm Eternalized deck that does even better than that deck. So, yeah, before I get into the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Helps out a lot, especially since I'm a newer channel. Hit the subscribe button, and also click the eye icon in the top right corner. Vote for what deck you want to see next, whatever one interests you the most. Go ahead and click on that, and you might see it for my next video. Now let's get into it. Creatures first, because why not? Start at the bottom of the curve and move up. We're going to be playing 4 copies of Adorned Pouncer, 4 copies of Champion of Wits, and 3 copies of Vizier of the Anointed. So you guys are probably wondering why Sacred Cat isn't in here, and that's because I just straight up didn't have any room for it. So Adorned Pouncer is a lot better than it. I know, turn 1 play would be nice, but Adorned Pouncer is a lot better. And then Champion of Wits draws us a whole bunch of cards, especially when you Eternalize it. And Vizier of the Anointed draws us cards whenever we Eternalize or Embalm. And then whenever Vizier of the Anointed enters the battlefield, you may search your card library for a creature card with Eternalize or Embalm, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. So pretty strong 4-mana guy. I know he's a 2/4. He doesn't die to Magma Spray, he doesn't die to Incendiary Flow or any of that stuff, but he does die to Grasp of Darkness and any other creature removal. So I only wanted to play 3 of him, but if he stays out, he could really do work for you. Alright, let's get into the later game stuff. A whole bunch of 5-drops here, but they're all worth it. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Angel of Sanctions, 3 copies of Glyph Keeper, and 3 copies of Oketra's Attendant. Again, just like my blue-white Embalm deck, Angel of Sanctions is still the all-star in the deck. One of the best cards in the deck, if not the best. Glyph Keeper is just a really cheap guy that can Embalm, that's hard to remove. 5/3 flyer for 5, that has Embalm. You have to use 2 spells to kill it, so very strong in that regard. And then Oketra's Attendant is in here specifically because it's interaction between this and Embalmer's tools. Also, it can cycle away early and then later in the game. It's like you're not even getting rid of the card because the Embalm cost is the same as the hard cast cost. So cycle it away early. If you need it later in the game, go ahead and play it from your graveyard for 5 mana. And it's pretty good when you have an Embalmer's tool out because its Embalm costs less than its hard cast cost. That is all the creatures in the deck. 20 creatures, 17 of them Eternalize or Embalm. So now let's get into the non-creature spells that help set up our strategy with Eternalize and Embalm. We're going to start at the bottom of the curve, I guess, for our non-creature spells, and move up. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Strategic Planning, 3 copies of Embalmer's Tool, and 3 copies of Stasis Snare. Strategic Planning is a sorcery speed anticipate. However, it puts the other 2 cards that you look at into the graveyard instead of the bottom of your library. So, you look at your top 3 cards, maybe you have 2 creatures and a removal or a land. You take the removal or land, put those 2 Eternalize or Embalm creatures in your graveyard, and it's basically like you just drew 3 cards. So, in that regard, it's better than Anticipate for this deck, despite it being sorcery speed. It's also another turn 2 play if you don't have an Adorned Pouncer or Embalmer's Tool. Speaking of Embalmer's Tool, one of the better cards in the deck, only playing 3 of, because we really only need 1 out, don't need more than 1. It says activated abilities of creature cards in your graveyard cost 1 less to activate. So that counts as Eternalize and Embalm. It's the only reason we're playing it in the deck. Makes all our Eternalized and Embalmed guys from our graveyard easy to come back and do some work. And then Stasis Snare is just creature removal. Pretty simple. We're in white. Gonna play it. Our last 2 non-creature spells are probably one of the best non-creature spells in the deck. We're gonna be playing 4 copies of Cast Out and 3 copies of Anointed Procession. Alright, if you guys didn't know, your Embalm and Eternalized creatures are tokens. So when you Embalm or Eternalize them, 2 will come out if you have an Anointed Procession. Very, very strong, especially with the Eternalized guys. I mean, imagine Eternalizing a Champion of Wits with Anointed Procession out. You get to just draw 8 cards and then discard 4 of them. Like, it's just absolutely insane. Or if you have like an Angel of Sanctions out, you just put 2, 3, 4 flyers that exile 2 of their creatures, or actually any non-land permanent. So that's kind of strong too. Adorned pouncer, excuse me. For 5 mana, you get 2 4/4 double strike. Like, it's just super, super strong in the deck. I know it's a little bit pricey. It's well worth the price though. I wouldn't recommend exchanging it for anything. This deck desperately needs the 3 copies of this. And then 4 copies of Cast Out. No brainer, more removal, but it's a non-land permanent, which is key. On to the lands. Now, we're playing 4 copies of Port Town, which is $10 for the playset. However, you can exchange that out for Evolving Wilds or 4 other basic lands. So we're playing 10 island, 10 plains, 4 Port Towns. Go ahead and feel free to exchange the Port Towns out. If you got them, play them. You got the 10 extra bucks, get it. Port Town, very important. Mana fixing is very important. We're playing a lot of double blue, double white stuff, so we do need the extra sources of each color. And I wouldn't recommend playing Evolving Wilds, even if you're going to play just a uncommon tapped dual land that's in blue and white, that's in standard. Play that over Evolving Wilds because we want the extra colors of each one whenever we can get them. We're playing, again, a lot of blue, a lot of double blue, a lot of double white. We desperately, desperately need the extra colors of each one. To the sideboard, and our sideboard is mostly going to be just counter spells and stuff like that, and more removal. We're going to be playing 4 copies of Collective Effort. 4 copies of Negate if they're trying to destroy one of our creatures or get rid of our graveyard or playing annoying spells that we don't want to resolve, or Planeswalk, you guys know what Negate does. 4 copies of Void Shatter, just in case they're playing things like Commit to Memory or stuff we don't want Aftermath cards resolving. Void Shatter is good for that. And then Nimble Obstructionist, we're playing a 3 of. Now, however, if you guys have Disallow or want to spend the money on Disallow in the sideboard, replace Disallow with Nimble Obstructionist. But Disallow can be a counter spell. It also can be a Nimble Obstructionist where it can counter an activated ability or a triggered ability. And the only reason this is in here is because there's lands and there's artifacts in our Devastation that get rid of graveyard shenanigans. So we need some sort of activated ability or triggered ability counter, and Nimble Obstructionist is the cheaper of the 2 at $4 a pop. Well, Disallow is almost at $7 a pop. So I know they're both expensive, but you really, really need it. If your opponent has sideboard hate against graveyards, you really, really have to have one of these in your sideboard so you can counter it and make sure you don't get absolutely screwed by it. That is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Click the eye icon in the top right corner. Vote for next video's deck tech. So whatever one seems most interesting to you, whatever one you want to see the most, you guys know how to vote. Go ahead and do that. Hopefully your choice is the most popular. And if it is the most popular, it'll be my next video. So I hope to see you in that next video. Peace.